Hi there and welcome to the Frank and Valerie show. We're back in our putting studio here in Orlando, Florida, and you guys should come and visit us sometimes. We've got some lovely weather and some great analysis we can do to improve your putting. But right now what we want to do is talk about this week's Q&As, and first up was a question from Dan, and Dan was concerned about the groove rule change and was concerned whether he should spend $2,000 on updating his wedges or buying the current groove configuration for his wedges, so they last him to 2024.
Well, Dan, I don't think the USGA is listening to us, and I'd really like you to read the Q&A itself and also the last article in the New York Times. We are trying to get the USGA to change the rule that they've adopted because everybody's affected. Now, unfortunately, if they don't change the rule, then I'd suggest you go ahead and buy 3 sets of wedges with the present and current grooves configuration. That'll at least last you until 2024. And during that period of time, by the way, we have bifurcation of the rules. So something that the USGA really didn't want to have. But that's what I'd suggest you do. And if they do change the rule back again, you're ahead of the game, because the groove technology really doesn't change. I mean, the wedge technology really hasn't changed very much. So, you can still use, and I'm sure your wedges will be very good in 2024.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that concerns me, Frank, and just from reading people's questions, I think a lot of you, think it's the wedges, but in fact, it's all your irons, right? It's the grooves and all your irons from basically your 5-iron to your wedge and sand wedge.
Right. Every club over 25 degrees in loft. This is a silly rule. It's very difficult to determine whether it's 24 or 25 or 26, and if you bend them afterwards, is it now that the correct loft? And also, even the groove configuration itself is so small, the groove is so small, to determine exactly what it is going to be very difficult. But you're right, and as an amateur, as an example, if you decided to enter the Women's Open, you'd have to change your clubs as an amateur and go and buy a new set of clubs for the Women's Open.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting. As an amateur golfer, someone who has the ability to go and play in the Women's Open and like the Ladies British Open I played in a couple of years ago, I have to go and buy a whole new set of clubs if I want to play in it next year.
Yeah.
And that, the USGA and the R&A should be representing me, because I'm an amateur golfer. I'm the one who supports all their events, and it doesn't seem right, does it?
Well said. We are going on a little bit about it, but I think it's important that we do, and I really recommend that everybody go ahead and write to the USGA, explaining that they're really not excited about this, and for the USGA to be transparent, explain to us why the rule change is being made, and give us some evidence that the game is going to be better afterward. They're just not doing that, and that's not nice at all. So we need to get this thing changed.
And the other thing that's interesting from speaking to some of the manufacturers is with the new groove configuration, they have to actually machine each club to be able to get to the tolerances required.
Right.
Is that correct, Frank? And what that's going to mean, it's going to mean that all our clubs are going to be more expensive. So when we go to buy that new set of conforming grooved clubs, it's going to be much more expensive because of the rigorous, production method that's going to be required.
Right.
So all these things are things that you maybe don't hear about, but we want to, make sure we let you know the impact it's going to have on your game, because at the end of the day, we all want to play by the rules and we all want to do the right thing. But if it doesn't make sense, we need to, be active and get out there and let them know that we don't agree with it.
Right. If we don't respect the rules and we don't respect the USGA, then the game suffers, and so we've got to do something. Unfortunately, we don't have too much time for anything else, but I do recommend that you go to the website, to the Q&A itself, read about it, and give us your input. We need your feedback.
Yeah, we do. We appreciate your feedback, and thanks so much for watching the show again this week.
Bye.
Bye.